Hey friend, welcome to the BotBuhdy AI report. Today we've got a packed show for you. Grok 4.5, private beta, 1.5 trillion parameters, cursor DNA, SpaceX, and Tesla only. China drops Longcat 2.0, 1.6 trillion parameters, zero NVIDIA, full open source. Anthropic closes the China backdoor, Alibaba bans Claude code in retaliation. Tesla caps employee. AI spending at $200 a week. Grok gets an exemption. And finally, global startup funding hits a record $510 billion in H1 2026. Let's get into it.
xAI has officially lit the fuse on Grok 4.5. The new model is entering private beta right now, but you can't get access unless you work at SpaceX or Tesla. That's the deal. 1.5 trillion parameters. And here's what makes this genuinely different from every other model drop in the last year. Grok 4.5 was trained partly on Cursor IDE, coding session data, real engineers, real problems, real workflows, not crawled text from GitHub, not synthetic data cooked up in a lab, actual developers solving actual engineering challenges inside two of the most demanding technical environments on the planet. SpaceX acquired Cursor's parent company, Anysphere, for $60 billion back in June. And now that investment is already paying dividends inside the model weights of Grok 4.5. xAI product lead, Andrew Milich, is running live feedback sessions with Tesla engineers in internal channels. This is a vertically integrated AI development loop that OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google simply cannot copy. They don't own the companies, they don't have the session data, and they don't have the engineers who are literally stress testing frontier models on rocket software and autonomous vehicle stacks. When Grok 4.5 goes public, it is going to arrive with a very different kind of training signal behind it.
All right, let's go. This next story has me fired up. You are going to want to hear this.
Meituan just open-sourced Longcat-2.0, and the number that matters is not 1.6 trillion. It's zero. Zero NVIDIA chips, the entire training run, across 50,000 AI accelerators, used only domestic Chinese hardware. No H100S, no A100S, no US supply chain at all. The model itself is a mixture of experts architecture with 1.6 trillion total parameters, activating around 48 billion per token. It has a 1 million token context window, making it one of the longest context coding models on the planet. And as of this morning, it's already ranked top 3 globally by API. Call volume on OpenRouter. That's not a research paper, that's market penetration. Here's why this matters beyond the benchmarks. The export controls that the US imposed on advanced AI. Chips were designed to create a ceiling on China's capabilities. Longcat 2.0 is Meituan, a food delivery app, proving that ceiling no longer exists. They built their own chips, trained their own model, open-sourced the result, and now developers everywhere are using it. The gap between US and Chinese frontier models is collapsing, and Longcat 2.0 is the clearest proof point yet.
Now this next story really got me thinking. This could change everything.
The Financial Times broke a story this week that exposed how Chinese companies had been quietly routing around Anthropic's access restrictions, using offshore subsidiaries, third-party cloud providers, and API proxies to access Claude, despite the US export controls. Anthropic's response was immediate. They patched the loopholes. Claude is now effectively inaccessible from China through any route that Anthropic can identify, and Alibaba did not take it quietly. The company announced it will fully ban internal employees from using Claude code starting July 10th. All Anthropic models, Sonnet, Opus, Fable, are being deleted from company systems. Alibaba is pointing employees toward Coder, its own internal AI coding tool. This is a significant moment. We're not talking about a government ban. We're talking about one of the world's largest tech companies voluntarily ripping out a tool that its engineers have been using heavily because access is no longer reliable. Anthropic closing these loopholes is the US government's export control policy actually working at the software level. And Alibaba's response is exactly what that policy is designed to produce. China accelerating its investment in homegrown alternatives. The decoupling of global AI infrastructure is no longer theoretical.
Wow. Okay, so that just happened. This next one really blew my mind.
Tesla sent an internal memo this week with a message that basically says, AI is transforming everything we do. Now please stop spending so much on it. Starting July 6th, Every Tesla employee is capped at $200 per week on third-party AI tools. Thousands of dollars in weekly token bills per engineer have been adding up fast enough to trigger a finance review. And Tesla is not alone. Uber, Meta, and Walmart have all put similar guardrails in place in recent months. But here's the detail that makes this story a little more interesting. There is one exception to the spending cap. Grok, Elon Musk's own AI tool, built by his own AI company, is exempt from the $200 limit. Tesla engineers can use Grok as much as they want. Every other tool, Claude Code, Cursor, OpenAI's API, hits the wall at $200. The optics here are hard to miss. Tesla is simultaneously Elon's car company and a de facto testing ground for XAI. That's not inherently wrong, but it does mean the spending cap is less about AI neutrality and more about consolidating AI spend inside the Musk ecosystem. Either way, the broader signal is clear. The era of unlimited AI. Experimentation on the corporate card is ending. Enterprise AI is growing up, and it's starting to look like every other line item on the budget.
All right, I want to flag this one. We should keep a close eye on where this goes.
$510 billion. That's how much money flowed into global startups in the first 6 months of 2026. To put that in context, the peak year of the 2021 venture boom, which everyone agreed was overheated, saw about $600 billion for the full year. We are on pace to blow past that. And unlike 2021, this isn't spread across crypto, fintech, D2C brands, and social apps. This is concentrated almost entirely in AI. The headline numbers are staggering. SpaceX went public at a $1.77 trillion valuation, raising $75 billion in the largest venture-backed IPO in history. DeepSeek raised $7.5 billion in China's largest ever AI funding round. Alphabet raised $84 billion in a single equity offering. The logic behind every one of these deals is the same. AI infrastructure is going to be the most valuable asset class in the world, and anyone who doesn't get in now will be left behind. That logic might be correct, but it's also exactly the logic that precedes every major market bubble in history. What's different this time is that the technology is genuinely transformative. The question is whether the capital formation around it is rational, or whether we are once again confusing a real revolution with a license to print money for anyone with the word AI in their pitch deck.
That's all for today, friend. If you found this helpful, smash that like button and hit subscribe. I will see you tomorrow with more AI news. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and remember, leverage your intelligence.